media reports say after Queen Elizabeth passes away, he will be buried with her at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. All right, let's bring in CGTN's Paul Barber joining us live from Windsor. Paul, a somber but meticulous send-off for Prince Philip. Give us the highlights of the day from the events around the funeral. Paul?
Richard, yes, that's exactly right. Somber and meticulous. Meticulous down to the very last second. The Duke of Edinburgh's personal stamp was all over this funeral right from the beginning to end. He'd been intimately involved in the planning of this funeral for the past 18 years, we hear, but it's certainly turned out rather differently than had been originally planned. Some 800 guests had originally been expected to attend. Just 30 could attend the funeral service due to COVID-19 rules, but we certainly saw the Prince's personality right from that moment when his coffin was taken from inside Windsor Castle and placed on the back of a specially modified Land Rover that he'd been involved in designing. His personal flag, his standard, was laid on top of his coffin along with his naval cap and sword, which indicates his distinguished career with the Royal Navy. He served in World War II as an officer. Some 730 members of the armed forces lined the procession route from the state entrance of Windsor Castle to St George's Chapel, where the service took place. A minute's silence was held at the beginning of the service, and then it was certainly a very pared-back, simple service. There was no eulogy to trumpet the Duke of Edinburgh's many qualities and achievements. The Queen herself wearing a mask, as were all other members of the family who were in attendance. Some very poignant images of Queen Elizabeth sitting really alone during the service. No member of the family anywhere near her, which was a moving image to see after 73 years of marriage between Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. He's been her rock, her stay, her strength, as she put it, throughout her reign of more than 6 decades. A very different look outside of Windsor Castle as well. Normally for a big royal funeral such as this, you'd expect thousands of well-wishers to line the streets for a public procession. That's not been allowed this time. People were urged to stay home and watch television and donate to the Prince's charities instead of coming to pay tributes. I was speaking to the head of the Duke of Edinburgh's award, which the Duke founded himself to champion young people enjoying the outdoors and a spirit of adventure, and he said the Duke was an extraordinary man, but he felt that this funeral really reflected who the man was. If anything, he would have wanted an even more simple funeral. Above all, he championed no fuss. That was his saying. He did not want a fuss, and there was not a fuss here today, but it was certainly a very moving event on a very sad day for the royal family and for the UK. Richard.
Paul Barber, thank you so much for covering that story. We appreciate that update and report. Thank you very much indeed. And